Good morning, everyone. It's Trader Rob. Today is Friday, July 3rd. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic morning. Good morning, Paul, Todd, JLo's, Trader 007. Good morning. Let's see what we can capture here. Probably go until, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the morning goes. Did take a trade last night on a signal band, and did take, it was a very unfortunate because it came very close to full TP, and unfortunately did get stopped out. Let's see if I can memberships. Let's see if I got that level here. I don't. But pretty nice push here on the NQ overnight, that's for sure. We traced a good portion of, let's jump into a higher time frame, make this a little easier. We've retraced about half of that move from yesterday's dump. Pretty balanced profile from yesterday, so most likely we kind of stay in this range here today. This range from pretty much the 319s down to the 328. I'm pretty sure we'll probably see some lower liquidity here in the market, so we'll see how price action develops. All right, so some areas that I am interested in. We got a lot going on right here. So we've got value area high sitting right here. We've got key levels sitting up here at the 30.84, and we are in a reaction band right here, so there's a lot of selling pressure right here, again from like the 84s down to the 40s, and then a little bit more detailed from the 58s to the 46. That's at least what I see. And yesterday's high sitting right here at the 33.19. Let's see what else we've got. Key levels here at the 29.566, the 551, and then we also have got yesterday's point of control sitting at the 29.457. I believe we got one more. Yesterday's low, 29.328, and then yesterday's value area low at 344. Could be a great little trade idea sitting down here as well. Again, we got to see if price action wants to get down there or not. Let's take a look at the ES. All right, ES has got a few levels. We'll start what's below us. We got a key level at the 75.35. Got some buyer unbalanced volume sitting here at the 75.37 to the 75.34. Got another buyer unbalanced volume area from the 75.31 to the 75.27. And then we've got some key levels down here as well at the 75.23 and the 22. So you can almost kind of group these together. Yesterday's point of control on the ES, 75.10. And yesterday's low at the 74.79. Above price action. We've got a key level at the 75.94. And I believe that's all we got to the top side. So we'll stay here on the NQ. I am currently running a 25% off sale on both products that I offer, the Signal Service and the Volume Masterclass. So Masterclass with the 25% off, discount goes down to $147, and the Signal group is goes down to $44, which is actually a pretty nice savings, and it's month to month. And it's one sale. I run one sale a year. Figured what better than US's 250th birthday. I'm not sure why this profile is kind of hidden. Oh no, you could see it. Alright, that's okay. And to get that 25% off, just type in code July 4th. You can click on the link that's in the chat. I did add a Lucid funded. I should say I got a Lucid funded, and I added a Tradeify funded as well. So I got those done yesterday. Let's see what we can get here from the markets. So J-Love had a question. Hey Rob, do your inside bar strategies work on range bars? No. They're not actually not going to work because it would be literally impossible to have an inside bar. I mean, I shouldn't say impossible. You would literally have to have equal highs to the ticks on 2 consecutive range bars back to back, which is you don't see it a lot. In fact, that to me would, depending on how big of a type of a range you're going, the higher the range, the more that's actually just going to show super consolidation, which again is a kind of a inside bar type of play, but they're extremely rare. I don't think that you would ever, if you popped in an indicator on a range bar chart, I think it would be it would be impossible to have an inside bar. Because technically an inside bar would be at least 1 tick below the high, 1 tick below the low. You could make a case for equal highs, but it would be very, very difficult. Now, one idea that you could formulate is if you, let's just say that you were to go to your 120 range, okay? And you mark out your high and bottom of your range, and then drop down to like the next lower range that you use. So let's just say, I mean, for example's sake, we'll use a 30 range. And then let's grab that drawing tools from the 120 range. And then you can drop down to the lower time frame, wait for a breakout on the higher time frame. That's a strategy that you could use. But it wouldn't be technically an inside bar strategy because, you know, if you're like on a 1 minute candlestick, you can 100% have a 1 minute inside bar. But on here, you'd have to drop down to a lower range to get that done. I'm feeling very, very comfortable with very comfortable with DeepCharts. In fact, this morning was the first morning that, I mean, I have NinjaTrader running, and I'll kind of go over what my going forward, what I think my strategy is going to be between DeepCharts and NinjaTrader kind of going forward, because I have a lot of capital. I have a lot of working capital on NinjaTrader that I cannot access through DeepCharts, even if I wanted to. So I kind of have to coming up with a strategy here on how I'm going to do this going forward. But first of all, my first thing that I was going to comment on is this morning was the first morning that I have done all my levels, every single level, key level, all my mapping was just done on DeepCharts. So I did not have to open up, not that I didn't have to open up, but I didn't have to rely on NinjaTrader for really anything, starting as of this morning. And I've got the charts, I think, in a decent place. There's just one little thing that I would like to be able to add, and I'm going to work on that this weekend. I want a side histogram like you see here, with this is delta. I want a volume profile for the regular session, and then I want my left volume profile to be the electronic session. And you'd think that it would be pretty easy to figure out, and I might have figured it out, but I don't know. I got to see it at 8:30 if it's going to work or not. And then kind of going forward, what I'm thinking is, and when I state that I've got a lot of working capital, I've got about, I don't know, somewhere a little over $14,000 in my live cash account on NinjaTrader. I've got funded accounts on NinjaTrader that are through Tradeovate prop that I cannot trade on DeepCharts. So, you know, I haven't really taken many trades, obviously, on NinjaTrader. So I kind of came up with this idea. I think it's going to probably work out pretty well. In fact, it's kind of similar to what I used to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my scalps and all of my trades on the DeepCharts platform. Now, again, I am on a smaller position size because I am working with a smaller account. My balance on the Iron Beam is at 57.36, as I'm down $54 from the trade from last night. But my goal is to get this account in that 8 or 9K range by the end of July, which would then also get me payouts on multiple firms, because they're all in the same money management system. They're all trade copying right now. And then I would like to use my NinjaTrader charts for my initial balance trades. So I figure that when the initial balance is getting there, I can switch over to my NinjaTrader accounts and at least trade my fundeds and my cash accounts, or my cash accounts. Sorry, I'm going back and forth between DeepCharts and NinjaTrader. Cash accounts on on NinjaTrader. So I think that's a decent plan. And how's the saying go? Everything sounds like a good plan until you get punched in the face. So we'll see. And I was trying to kind of do the math on the, might be a little aggressive, $3,500 goal I have. I think maybe 3,000, 2,500, 3,000 might be a little bit more realistic. I mean, yesterday was a fantastic day of trading. I think we added about I don't know, I think it was like 580 or 560 in equity back into that account. Also, another thing too to note, this is just kind of a psychology thing. This is no excuses, or it's just me being transparent and telling you what I feel. I do enjoy how do I put this in the right way? All right, let's take an example on NinjaTrader here. So the way I was been trading this NinjaTrader since I started the live streams was adding the, obviously scaling all of the funded accounts and copy trading them, typically in groups. But you guys see, when I've got my goal of, I think my goal got up to 20K per month. That is a goal between copy traded accounts, and like the P&L counter starts to click. You take a 10-point stop, and it's it shows up as minus $1,200 because that's what's taking in all of the fundeds. Well, that's the only thing that I mean, there's no way for me to hide that from myself. I mean, I'm staring that in the face. It stares me in the face, that number, because it's in my recording software that I use to broadcast this to you guys. And your cash account might be down $200, and to me, that's nothing. It's not even a blimp on the screen, because if you look at it from a risk standpoint, what's that kind of risk? 14.5. It's less than 1%. It's less than 1% of the account. That doesn't sound right. Should be more than that, actually. 14.5 times. It's about 1.4, 1.5% of the account. So it's and that just to me looks more manageable. When you see a negative number of negative 4,500, the cash account might only be down $400. but it just looks like a really big number when that's staring at you in the face. And I know that, I personally know that depending on how the market is, you know, if you're just taking bad trade after bad trade, and you know, you're just not seeing the market, you're not reading the market right, to hopefully you can anticipate that. But if you are seeing the market right and you're still getting, you've just had some unfortunate trades, which you guys have seen me do a lot over this last month, where you kind of get the direction right, you get a small pullback, wicks you out, goes right back to TP. Multiple occasions, you go into 20 points of profit, you get a slight pullback, break even, just to see you know, go to TP. So if you're seeing the market right and you're staring at a negative $4,000 or $4,500, you know, you might say, okay, the prudent thing would be is to kind of shut it down. But it's kind of the opposite, because if the reads are right, you know, those are the days that you need to be really trying to trade the strategy and trade the edge. And then, you know, yesterday's the last trade that I ended up taking on stream was a beautiful trade. It was a great read. Found my entries perfectly, found my exits perfectly, managed my stop loss really well, added to the position, and I think we ended up making almost $400 on that trade, $398 on that trade. Where if you were taking a few losses in a row, which had happened, I think we took 2 losses in a row there. You know, you might want to just say call it a day. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do for risk management purposes, but there's a difference between not seeing the market right and losing money, and then losing money seeing the market right. Both can happen. Just like you can see the market wrong and make money. Yeah, ATR is super low right now. But we had some really good movement. I mean, I was watching price action last night. And one thing I wanted to check is today an actual federal bank holiday? Are banks open today? I don't know why I feel like today's just been such a yes, major banks and credit unions like Chase are open today during stand. Okay, so today the banks are open. Doesn't say, because I haven't really heard a lot of fuss about today. Usually I'm getting emails left and right. So I think everything's pretty standard today, minus maybe a few people starting their weekend early. And I will say I love you guys, because I did get invited to go golf this morning, and I very rarely get a day off during the week. And in fact, maybe only 3 or 4 a year do I see like that. And I chose to do the live stream. So that says a lot. So our trader says, only on holiday I trade Asia. That's where the fun's at. Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I was looking at price action last night. I took a signal yesterday, and we so damn close to getting to take profit. And there were some good opportunities as well. There was definitely some decent opportunities last night. There was some good price action. Bob says, good morning, degenerate here, showing up for duty. I'm with you, bud. I was just stating that I got invited to play golf this morning, and I told them I couldn't. So for me to put the live stream and trading in the morning over a golf session, that would have been probably pretty damn nice today because the weather's great. It's been hot as heck over here these last 4 days, and today kind of cooled off. We had a pretty big storm come in last night. It's cooling off here today. But today looks like it's going to end up being a beautiful day. I am DJ number 1. I sure did. Yeah, you're getting, I think, you're getting what we had yesterday, Bob, or maybe even, yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday was about 100. It's been like 98, 100 both days. And I finally broke last night. We had just a huge storm come through. And after that, it cooled off a bit. But today's supposed to be, I think, still highs in the 90, like low 90, 89, 90. But I'll take that over 98. Our trading addiction is real, Lewis. That is for sure. That's a good comment. Morning, Key. So that is one small problem that now I have with Cash Profit Fridays. So I think on Cash Profit Fridays, I think I'm going to have to continue to trade on NinjaTrader on those days. I just don't have enough. I don't have enough funded accounts and cash to. In fact, I actually didn't even know how I would do a total P&L. I don't, you know, the way I have it done right now is an indicator that actually one of my Signal members created for me that groups all of my accounts into my P&L that you guys used to see over here where the P&L is showing for my Iron Beam cash account. So there's no indicator to show a total profit for the cash and funded accounts that I have connected to DeepCharts. So I think on Fridays I might have to trade on NinjaTrader. I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to figure something out. Or maybe I just increase my percentage that I give out on Fridays off of my cash account, off this Iron Beam account. That could be an idea. I don't know. We'll see. You kind of have to figure that out. Wow, super rare that you see a gap like this in the Nasdaq this early. Liquidity is low. Morning, Keith. John, good morning. J-Lo's asks, what's your biggest winning trade you've ever had? That's a good question. And I got a funny answer for you. So I'm just going to say what my biggest trade was, cash, because I think that's really the one that matters the most. At that time, I wasn't even trading funded accounts. I wasn't trading any prop. I was only trading my 2 cash accounts on NinjaTrader. I had a trade, and this has happened to me maybe once or twice. Now, granted, for every story like this I tell, there's always an opposite to the story, because like I've always told you guys and girls, the market has a extremely funny way of kind of balancing itself out. So for every stupid mistake that we make as a trader, for every blown account or major loss, you know, there'll be a flip side to that story where you have a mistake that goes in your favor. My largest trade on my cash account was, I believe the total P&L on the one of my cash accounts was $4,500, and that happened to me maybe about a year and a half ago. I remember vividly. I was at my brother-in-law's house in the morning. I was trading with him. I spent some randomly. I haven't done it since I've started the streams, but randomly I'll just kind of go over there and I used to trade with him at least once or twice a month in the morning. We don't trade the same instruments. In fact, I did get him set up with like a Lucid account and a installed Trade of 8. I screwed up something on his. I made a mistake, or he made a mistake, I should say, when he put in his name, his last name. He put a typo in, and then now he's got to certify his Trade of 8 with the wrong name. And I'm like, you can't do that. So I had to leave and haven't really gone back to that. Anyways, that wasn't part of my story. So I was trading at his house, and I got into a trade on the NQ, which is what I thought it was. I thought it was the NQ, but I was actually on a micro chart, and I entered in with 5 micros. That's what my ATM was set for, but it was not on the micro chart. It was on the NQ chart, and can't remember how many points it was, but you can probably just end up doing the math at how many points that trade was. When the P&L, you know, when I hit the trade, and I didn't have P&L everywhere. I mean, I literally had to like click on Control Center to see the P&L, not like now or not like before, I should say, where the P&L was, it's like, again, it's staring me in the face. My P&L was $4,500 in that trade. And I think I was at a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Maybe it was even a negative risk to reward at that in that trade. So I had about 45 to 5 grand worth of risk on that trade as well. So that's been my biggest trade. And it was an accident. It was not even something that was intentional. But I would say that, you know, I'd say that the market probably over those 2 years has taken that money back in one way or the other on mistakes, or, like I said, the flip side of it. So I think, you know, the market just balances itself out. I think everything in life kind of does. Was I happy? That was I think I was more scared that I was more scared of the fact that I could have been liquidated, because I believe at that time I didn't have a daily loss limit set up with NinjaTrader, and for sure my account was sitting at like 5 grand. So I always used to be trading my NinjaTrader at about 5 grand. 5 to 6 grand was always, going back 2 years ago or whenever that happened. So I mean, if the market, if that percentage, that 40 or 30% loss rate would have hit there, that could have, who knows, that could have been the last day that I trade. So I think I was thinking about that more than I was happy about the money. I know for a fact that I was I was probably sitting at about 6 grand or 5,500, because I remember that on that trade, my account, I think for the first time ever, went over 10 grand. And again, this has got to be at least 2 years ago. As far as biggest point total, I think I've taken a trade on the NQ for, like, real trade, like funded cash, not any eval or something stupid like that. I think my biggest trade was maybe 116 or 130 points. I take that back. Actually, on DeepCharts, I think on my first trade that I took, I think I made 200 and something points, but that was like 1 micro. Or maybe 2 micros, I don't remember. But like real position size, I think it was like 130 points. And on the ES, I think my biggest trade was 16 points with real size. I think I did that live stream, or it might have been with my Signal members right afterwards, but it was a big trade. And I've probably had bigger ones on the ES, but again, I'm just looking at it from like a real big position size, like an E-mini. And again, for those of you kind of joined a little late, these are just some thoughts going forward on how I'm going to be managing, you know, because I obviously, like I mentioned, I've got a lot of sitting capital in my NinjaTrader accounts, and let's just say my NinjaTrader platform. Between my cash account and my funded accounts, there's a lot of capital that's kind of like sleeping right here. As majority of my trades have been now being taken on the DeepCharts platform. So a thought that I had last night was I might limit my NinjaTrader trades to just my 1 hour initial balance trade. And then for all of my other scalping and volume trades, I'll just take here on the DeepCharts platform. And if we do hit the goal of, you know, that 3K mark for July on the cash account here on Iron Beam, that would put the account to like about 8,600. I would probably fund it another like 1,400 to get to like 10 grand. And we could then start taking a little bit slightly higher position size. All right, calendar event just popped up here. A new event starting soon. Deep Live International with DeepCharts team. Deep Live International with DeepCharts team. I don't know what that means, but I do hate the fact that I miss a lot of the live streams on DeepCharts. It's right at the same time as that my streams typically start. John, do you still trade your 2B patterns? I'm assuming you're my inside Rob reversal inside bar breakouts from a few years ago. So I have, it's probably been now probably at least 5 weeks since I have not turned on the strategies upstairs, because what I've been doing over the last at least for the last year, no, not even that long, maybe about 7 months. When did I build this studio down here? I built it in October of last year, so yeah, shit, it's been 9 months. Holy crap. I used to have my trading station. Well, I still do. I still have a pretty nice trading station upstairs on my main level of my house, which is where I used to obviously do all my trades, where I used to do my videos at. And when I built the studio down here, because I'm in my basement right now, the layout for my monitors and for everything I needed, I came to the conclusion that it was just going to be too difficult to have everything kind of running down here and be also doing all of my trades. So I left it running pretty much on automatic every single morning. Right when I would actually go up to get my cup of coffee, I would turn on NinjaTrader upstairs. You're only allowed to have 2 instances of NinjaTrader running. So I would have it running upstairs, and it would be trading It was usually a combination of either oil, gold, and then always the 15-minute Rob reversal. I think for a few months I had both of them running. But for the last like 4 or 5 weeks, I have not. I have not. I just find such an edge over volume that it's kind of, I don't know how to say it, but it's a mechanical strategy when you're so accustomed and in tuned with volume. Mechanical strategy, purely mechanical strategy, gets a little bit more difficult because sometimes there'll be patterns, or not patterns, but things that I see in the market that the mechanical side will say, take this long, and the discretionary side of you will say, you know, it's probably better to sit that one out. Or I would be maybe looking at a short right here. So it's the kind of the age-old debate of mechanical versus discretionary. You know, I think if there's a hybrid of both, it would be phenomenal, and I think that could very easily be done. I just haven't I haven't really been taught it, because there is just so much more complexity when you add discretion into a mechanical strategy. I mean, you guys have no idea the thousands of questions that I've answered on my strategies that are purely rule-based. I mean, there's no reason to get them wrong. And if you were to somehow add volume, or let's just say add volume to that equation, that would just exponentially make it more difficult to teach that type of a strategy. And personally, I just didn't think I had the mental capacity for to take that on. But I mean, the 15-minute Rob reversal has some months that are just absolutely insanely good. It's got some losing months. It's got probably more than its share of, you know, break-even months, like literally 0-point months, where maybe you took 5 winning Rob reversals, 5 losers, or 20 losers, 20 winners. But then there's just those few months where it makes up the performance for the entire year. If we kind of take a look at the volume distribution over the last few days, you know, obviously yesterday was a pretty damn big range, but it was a very balanced day, extremely balanced day. And prior day obviously was more of a downtrend type of a day. And then I believe, yeah, this is the weekly here, which I really like. I like the fact that how they do this. I don't even know how this is showing up on my chart. Because this is the daily profile template that I have, but I think this might be one of a template that they have kind of pre-built. But I do like this. So the weekly shows up, when you scroll, and then these are just the 5 days, the 5 trading days for the week. So like this long purple line, and again, it's a little bit more lines that I like to see on my chart, but they all show me some pretty good information. But this long purple line that just always intersects, that's the weekly. So that's the weekly point of control. And then you've got like your longer aqua colored ones, so that's your value area high. Your aqua down below is going to be your value area low for the week. The ones that I mainly concern myself with are the obviously today's developing and then yesterday's. But I obviously, you kind of have to keep an eye on this one. Like this one's a very interesting one here. We literally came right to the tick yesterday. In fact, I took a good trade off of that. I remember that was a big trade that I took. You can see the executions right there. This was your value area high from Wednesday. We pretty much top ticked that right here. So that's where some of my values are coming in from. And even though we're starting to see some decent movement, it's not proportionate to what we've obviously been seeing this week. I mean, we're at like a 7-point ATR right now on the 2-minute, or on the 1 minute, I should say. I'm sorry. Morning, Joe. So Keys God, it's interesting that you said that you can run 2 instances of Ninja running at the same time. Do you need a higher level? I don't know what you mean by higher level. I mean, I do have the lifetime license with NinjaTrader, but I don't believe that's what I believe on any NinjaTrader. On any Ninja, you just can't have 2 instances on the same PC. But you can have NinjaTrader running on your desktop and NinjaTrader running on your laptop. For sure. I know for a fact you can do that. And if you do have both and you try to log into the NinjaTrader website, it'll knock you out of one, or it won't let you log in. If you have like a TradingView connection, which I also do, I have a TradingView connection that I can attach to TradingView from NinjaTrader. That'll also either prevent you from logging in if you're on a laptop and a desktop. So, but you could definitely have 2 instances of NinjaTrader running, just not on the same PC. Let's see here. John, Lucent, end of day drawdown rather than intraday unrealized gains dragging your trailing up must be a game changer for the M15 Rob reversal. Listen, intraday drawdown rather than intraday. Yeah, for sure. Because again, that's pretty mechanical, so Nordic, I am looking at yesterday's value area low and high. Morning, FOFF. I've also, you know, again, and I've been trading for a good amount of time, and I believe I have a pretty good edge in the market. I see the market, I think, pretty well. This, in my opinion, adding this to the chart, which is pretty new to me. This is my delta by price level, has been pretty eye-opening, to be honest with you. I've always been accustomed to delta by excuse me, delta by candle, by time is how I've always used delta. And like right here, like the 29,881s is a good example of something that I probably wouldn't have spotted earlier. I take that back. I guess the only way that I would be able to spot when I'm looking at right here at the 81s. So hopefully you guys can see it on the chart. You've got your biggest bar out of this whole movement is this big purple bar, which means a lot of selling pressure. A lot of selling pressure right here, with absolutely zero reward for sellers. Zero reward for sellers. Now, the only way previously that I could understand this would be me going to my 120 chart. And if you guys remember, I used to color in my charts with where I saw, based on the flips, based on where I saw delta. Okay, like this would be a flip right here on this candle, and then I would mark this out in green, this whole region in green. And then I would continue until I see the next flip happen, which doesn't happen here, doesn't happen there, doesn't happen there. This would be another flip. So then I would bring that green chart all the way up to this footprint right here. And then until I found a flip on the reverse side, and then there would be red on my chart. And eventually those red and green would butt up to each other, and I then could figure out, without even looking at volume profile or without even looking at, you know, any of these tools, I can see already where fair value is at, where point of control is going to be at, and that's kind of like how what I was kind of using to see this, to see what I see here now on the chart. But this just makes it a lot easier, and you know, I think just it's more visually easy to do. And for the flip side, so if we break this level here, you know, then we're gonna see a pretty easy push to the downside. probably to your next closest area, which would probably be, well, you've got your VWAP down here, you've got value area low down here. I obviously have an area of unbalanced volume that I'm looking at that's right here. So they've got some targets that you can obviously target right into. So green is obviously buying pressure. Purple is going to be your selling pressure. The darkness of the purple and the darkness of the green indicates which one, you know, where there's really strong value. Your super light color is pretty neutral. It's like where there's kind of a, like almost a neutral delta. So Trader 007, one thing I can say is, you know, you're talking about V-shaped, which we've had two of them really in the last 24 hours. We take a look at the higher time frame here. So I guess we didn't have a huge one here, but I mean, yeah, that was one V-shaped. That's definitely a V-shaped reversal. And then your second V-shaped reversal was obviously this one right here. You know, one thing that you could kind of train your brain on is, you know, when you start to analyze where you're seeing these reversals happen, instead of having a challenge trading them, start having a little fun with them, because, you know, you can take some, I think Friday of last week or maybe Thursday of last week, I think was a great example. I was with my Signal members and I ended up taking a trade off of yesterday's value area low that I had a stop loss of 15 points and I had a target of like 100 and I think it was like 100 points back to point of control, and trade worked. I think I had maybe 3 points of drawdown. So what I would say, if you're struggling with these V-shape patterns or V-shape reversals, really study where the reversals are happening from, and try to have some fun with them. Try to take some really, you know, go to break even as quickly as you can and let the suckers ride. Lower position size. Because if you think about it, a V-shape happens almost once a day. Kind of has to. Joe, good morning. All right, we got 12 minutes of market open here. Let me go refill my coffee and let's get ready to hopefully take a trade here. Well, ATR is exploding up to 8 points here. 8.6 on the ATR. Look here at some areas of interest here. That level worked out really nicely on the ES. That was my weekly level I give you guys on Sunday. That one worked like a charm. Let's see, gold, if the gold did. First test on gold was over here. And we have been able to break out of this weekly band in gold. All right. My indicator says that, oh, by 2 minute. Yeah, I'm on the 1 minute. My 1 minute is at 8 points right now. But last night, I think it was hovering around 18, 20. I got less than a minute here for market open. Actually, a couple seconds. All right, we are open. Some pretty slow price action here. Sorry about that, guys. Good morning, 67, William. Morning, Adam. So kind of need the market to get to some type of... All right. This looks kind of... looks like sellers might want to take recontrol here. They love this area down here. Just don't have enough confidence right now in the sellers right here just yet. I'm going to take a tiny position here and see if we just come right back to this unbalanced volume area sitting down here at the 29,848s. And we'll kind of see. I'm just on 1 micro here, so let's put it at about 60 bucks of risk here. And we'll see if we get any continuation on here or not. I am asking a lot. I mean, shit, that's like 40 points with a 10 ATR. It's asking for a lot here, so we'll see. This is DeepCharts. This is the DeepCharts platform, which I switched over from NinjaTrader. I was on NinjaTrader here for a very long time, and I still am. Still take some trades here on NinjaTrader. But yeah, this is DeepCharts. So anything that's got a rhythmic connection, so you know, most of the props use rhythmic, like Apex, Trade of 8, take profit. I mean, all of the major ones have rhythmic connection. And then CQG is also another connection that you can use as well. So currently currently what I'm trading right now is my cash account, what you see on the P&L on the screen right there. That's a cash through an Iron Beam brokerage. And then I have this copy traded on a funded Blue Sky account, which Blue Sky I had never heard of, never traded with before prior to like 2 weeks ago, passed a 50K eval on that. And that was just to get me the platform, because if you took an eval, you can at least download the platform. You don't have all the tools with it, like the market bubbles, which is a big one for me. It's a big part of my trading. So it didn't have that necessarily on there. Not necessarily didn't have that on there, but at least got me to install it, mess around with it. I really like their order management. I'll do some videos on it in the probably in a couple weeks. But I have currently, this cash account is my leader account, and it is happy trading to a Lucid eval, a Lucid funded, and a Tradeify funded. I'm sorry, I take that back. I thought I had should have had a trade. Oh yeah, it is there. Sorry. Yeah, so I've got a Tradeify, a Lucid, a Blue Sky funded, so 3 funded accounts, and cash. It looks like we're gonna get stopped out here. Let's see if the sellers can regain here or not. It was really the only sign I saw so far this morning of, you know, possible area of trapped buyers. It's obviously been a pretty strong uptrend here, so kind of fighting the trend here a little bit. And would rather see us tap into some more key level areas that I've got mapped out on my chart, but I figured due to the volatility, I don't necessarily know how many trading opportunities I'll get today. Figured it was worth a stab. So the bubbles indicate where the buying volume is strongest, and where, so red and green show the, you know, where selling volume came in, where buying volume came in, and you can pretty much ascertain your trading strategy based on that. So here's a really good example of one right here. So this is a perfect example here of trapped sellers. So as you guys can see, market was coming up. We then got a pretty strong candle to the downside. We got strong sellers inside of this candle. And you can see on the very next candle that the sellers again were still continuing to try to push this market to the downside. We completely overtook them, got stopped out right there. We overtook them, and then we obviously went straight back to the upside. So it's a great way to see absorption by buyers, sellers, continuation. So when you get a strong candle like this and you start seeing green bubbles inside of a green candle, that means that buyers are still trying to step in as well. Can I get this indicator on top step? No. Now, I know Top Step has kind of an API function for some custom built indicators, but I believe that they're not on tick data, so I think they're using TradingView. So you could kind of recreate, if you don't have tick data, you could kind of recreate the bubbles, but they're not going to be as accurate as what you're going to get on a brokerage account. Yeah, this volatility is very, 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 very slow. And you can see right here, you know, obviously buyers are trying to push right here to try to get this market to go up, but you can see how the candle is obviously going to the downside. Sellers are stepping in right there. It's a good indication of trap buyers, which was kind of my it was my trade thesis right here as well, but didn't work out. Again, super small position size right now. ATR is at about 12, so we're at about probably about 20% volume from a typical morning, which would normally be at around 50 right now. So Nordic said, are you going to buy the Apex Legacy 250 account? Yeah, so they came out yesterday saying that they're bringing back the 250K Legacy. No, I've never really traded well with... actually, I take that back. I really haven't... I might have tried once. It's just the scaling, the position size, just didn't... I don't know, just doesn't fit my trading style. The 50K for me seems to match like how I would trade my cash account. I would probably consider maybe either a 100 or 150K, but so no. Simple answer is no. Come on, market. Was my 1 micro the liquidity that you needed? And if again, this is all hindsight stuff, so take this for what it's worth. But originally, believe my stop was sitting, I don't know, I think it was somewhere like right around here. I think I ended up reducing it a little bit once we went into profit. But if my initial entry was right here, and depending on how this candle closes, this would have been an area where, you know, if we get a little bit underneath my entry and I'm starting to see signs of, you know, more selling pressure coming in, that's where you can add one more micro. And then you could reduce your stop to this area right here. Again, it's just very low volume right now. English says, good morning. What creates a bubble? Volume. And you can have bubbles based on different... You can have bubbles based on different types of metrics. So for instance, my bubbles, do we have a bubble on NinjaTrader? Right here. So my bubbles on NinjaTrader, which you see right there, this is based on individual orders, individual big trades. So this is an individual, and I say individual lately, I'm talking about like institution. There's no individual that's coming in with 73 contracts on the NQ, but this is a bigger order, and this is individual. So you could have it individual, you can have it segregated where it'll take buyer and seller big trades, and then give you the who was the winner in that sequence. But typically, if there's buyers also stepping up in the same candle, you'd also see a green bubble here as well. You can on DeepCharts. Sorry, let me get this kind of centered up here. On DeepCharts, it does use a proprietary code or algorithm to come up with its bubbles. So that's not something that we're privy to. But it's what I would consider to be very similar to these bubbles as well. Because they typically appear in the same spots, but it also depends on your filter, because then you can filter it based on the minimum amount of contracts that you want to see. So like if you consider 40 contracts on the NQ coming in at one time, or at a level to be to meet your criteria, you're going to see a lot more bubbles appear. If you want to see only the areas where big trades really come in, you increase that filter up. Yes, there is a Ninja. So the indicator that I use is an indicator from Steady Turtle. It's kind of a funny name, but these are I didn't mean to do that. Right there. So if we go into indicators and we go into big trades, and it's super cheap. It's $49 for a lifetime license on NinjaTrader. So you can use it on one machine, and it'll give you the bubbles. If you're an order flow trader or volume-based trader, and you're on NinjaTrader, highly recommend this, especially over the native big trades that NinjaTrader indicator has, which I think is pretty awful. Let's get rid of this on our chart. I don't need that anymore. And the more realistic thing that I see, which was my initial trade idea, was just to kind of come right back into this range right here. There is buyer unbalanced volume sitting right here between the 43s and the 27 on the NQ. But it looks like we got stopped out there by maybe a point or two. Well, we still haven't even come back to entry, so who knows? No, well, the 300K is 20. I'm pretty sure the 250's got to be 15K. Oh, this price action's, I guess, kind of what was it kind of expected. Why did this go away now? I don't know why it does that. To be honest with you, I thought it would be slow, but I didn't think it would be this slow. Did not anticipate this type of open. I have no idea right now. I mean, my initial thesis right now was that we've got some trap buyers here at the top, but there's not any follow through. So take a trade right now and it's no better than a coin flip. So my entry models are pretty simple. I'm pretty much looking for areas of unbalanced volume. So areas that obviously have we've had, let's just call it like an impulsive move from. Key levels that I obviously map out every morning. And what I'm waiting for is when price action gets to one of those key areas that I like to, that I want to looking for a trade on. I am looking for signs of absorption by the party that I believe is going to be the prevailing winner. And I do that two different ways. Visually, I think easier to see is, again, just using the market bubbles. The second way that I do it, I would say more often, I trade with my footprint confirmations. So like for instance, if we go back to, where do we go here? If we go to, I had a signal here this morning that for a short, and I don't know where I just deleted it to. Let's see if I can put this in here just as an example's sake. So I think it was something like this. Maybe it was something where like right here-ish. That's what I had mapped out on my signal. I had my TPs already set. And I just waited for footprint confirmation. So I went back onto the 30. That's the ES, sorry. Let's go back to where that was right at the open. right here, sorry. So I had an entry that I actually ended up going to break even right here. I did notice that this was not a flip, and ended up getting my flips right here, which to me is a sign of absorption. And all that means is that we have a red footprint candle with positive delta. So what that's telling me is that even though that the buyers in this particular 30 range footprint candle, there was more buying pressure, we still ended up closing to the downside. So for me, that's absorption. That's what I call my delta flip. And that's my entry trigger. That is the entry trigger on all of my trades. And ended up making about $255 on that trade, or $233, I think it was. I did take that on the E-mini. So the flips on the footprint candle and the market bubbles really do show you the same thing. And I don't know why I'm on the 15-minute. Should be on the 1-minute chart. So this is just, it's still showing you buyers trapped here, buyers trapped here. Now, at the same token, the sellers have had really no follow through either. So we're just kind of in an area of balance right now. And now that I think about it, I think I was on the 15-minute candle when I ended up taking that scalp, which was a mistake on my part. My entry is always going to be on the 1 or 2 minute on the Nasdaq. And based on what I see on the 1 minute, which was different than the 15-minute. Based on what I see on the 1 minute, yes, I could have probably taken a short right here. I took a short right here. Once we see that we break this strong buying pressure right here. But at the same time, I would like to see at least one purple bubble showing me that actual sellers are coming through. You don't see any, the only thing we're seeing is buying strength, buying strength, buying strength. The sellers are doing a good job of absorbing that, but they ain't doing a good job of, there's no result in any of their pushes. They're not driving this market down just yet. So this might have been kind of not the greatest entry for me on that first trade. As I just noticed, I was on the 15-minute chart instead of the 1 minute. So but yeah, this is exactly what these are showing you. And the footprint will eventually show you the exact same thing. If we go to the 60, if we go to our peaks, what are we going to see here? Let's go to price action right here. No flip, no flip. So I might have to drop down to the 30 just based on there's just no volume right now. So yeah, so this shows it here on the 30 a lot better. So this is where your first market bubble's at. Right here. You've got yourself a negative footprint candle with positive delta. That to me is my entry confirmation to go short. So they both show you the same thing. I just like using the footprint as an actual entry because it gives me a defined risk to my trade. So my defined risk is always going to be at the top of my flip. So that would be my stop sitting right there. My entry is going to be right here, and then wherever my target might be. But again, I didn't really have an area right here that was an area that I was interested in taking a short from. So this, I'm just showing you this as an example sake. This is not me saying, oh, this is a great trade to take a short from. Yeah, I'm gonna work on the, I don't know, they're kind of growing on me a little bit. Like I thought the same thing too. I thought they were kind of ugly in the beginning, but they kind of growing on me a little bit. I think I might change this to red instead of purple, just to see it a little bit more clear. And then might do a different color scheme here on the colors over the weekend. Okay, first market bubble that we see for sellers right here. No follow through here as of yet. And on this exact pattern that we just saw here, you see how you got your red market bubble here, which is showing sign of seller volume coming in. You can also see it on the delta histogram right here, coming in. Now, a really good pattern to spot some good absorption with follow through, or trapped, I would say here, trapped sellers, would be to get a nice little green power candle here that also has a green market bubble. In that scenario, I'm going to be long, and my stop's going to be sitting below this footprint. Now, again, we're in a range right here, so this is kind of ugly, but you could definitely play the top part of this range. But I would need to see some type of indication that buyers are kind of coming through. Which I'm not at this point. Again, sellers coming through. So now let's kind of see if they break down here. If they break down, then we can maybe start looking for some shorts here. Now they look like they're a little bit more active here. Buyers still holding them up. Buyer's having a hard time here. I was a little early on that short, but okay, I like that. See if we get a little continuation here. I'll add one more contract. I'd like to see some follow through. If not, I'll cut this trade. Come on, sellers. No follow through just yet. I do got a mental stop somewhere right around here. They're not showing me much here yet. Let's see if the sellers beat them down here. Yeah, sellers come through here a little bit. Sellers stepping in again. Let's see some follow through. Got a decent target with the point of control sitting down there at that purple line. All right, that's good enough for me to add one more. Let's bring these guys up here. This guy right back into the range. Let's bring our stops. Let's get our stop ready here. Bring that guy down right there. All right, we built up their position. Let's see if we get some follow through here or not. Not good at all. Looks like they trapped me. Now, if we break down from here, I wouldn't mind even adding in one more if we can break down somewhere right around here. Otherwise, if they break over that bubble, I'm more than happy to get knocked out of this trade. I don't want to see any more of that. All right, I'm out there. See if they show some strength here or not. Right here is where we would have to see a pop right here. Otherwise, the chop will just continue. Nasty. Nasty price action. All right, guys, I don't need to continue trading this price action. This is, we're just going to get, I think we're just going to get chopped up here pretty good. So I think I'm going to call it for an early morning. Volume is just super low ATR. And price action, I'm not seeing any type of continuation here whatsoever. So I will see you guys on Monday. I am running a 25%. It's the only sale that I run this year. 25% off until Monday, July 5th. You can get 25% off my Signal Service group or 25% off my masterclass, which in the masterclass I teach, I got a whole module on the bubbles. Pretty much everything that I teach on my streams is in the masterclass as well. So you can always grab that. That'll be until Monday. With that, hope you guys enjoy a 4th of July weekend. Stay safe out there. If we're gonna be doing fireworks, be careful. And more than likely now we melt down to where my target would have been right here at the point of control. All right, guys, take care. Have a great weekend. And I cannot make it to golf. No, tee time was at 9 a.m., so I missed that already.